We have all experienced this specific gravitational pull. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling an intense desire to do absolutely nothing while your responsibilities wait in the other room. We live in a hyper-competitive society, conditioned to view this inactivity as a moral failing for every hour spent away from your to-do list, internalizing the idea that your rest is a sign of weakness. This creates a visual paradox. From the perspective of an outside observer, a temporary off day and a severe clinical depressive episode look identical. The outward behavior tells us nothing. To understand what is actually happening, we have to look past the external stillness and analyze the invisible internal mechanics of the mind. The first way to separate a habit from an illness is by testing for personal agency, the presence of choice. Laziness is ultimately a decision. While difficult to overcome, it can be bypassed, using motivational speeches, rigid schedules, or a simple to-do list to force a change in behavior. A depressive episode is a serious biological and psychological illness. It doesn't ask for permission. It removes the individual's ability to choose their actions. Because this is a medical condition, no amount of willpower or external pressure can force someone to snap out of it. It is a physiological state, not a bid for attention. If standard productivity hacks and sheer effort fail to produce even a small movement, the evidence points toward a biological inability to act, rather than a lack of discipline. The second dividing line is found in how the mind processes relief and emotional triggers. Standard laziness usually has a clear trigger, like burnout from chronic stress. It responds to simple interventions. A good meal, a long sleep, or an evening with friends can often lift the fog. A depressive episode often descends without any logical reason or clear trigger. The profound sadness arrives, and it persists regardless of your circumstances. This is anhedonia, a state where pleasure vanishes. As this diagram shows, even when a positive stimulus is present, the brain's receptor is blocked. Because this physical mechanism for joy misfires and degrades, activities that usually bring comfort fail to register. The brain loses its ability to process pleasure. This inability to feel comfort marks a profound emotional void. It represents the shift from a passing state of fatigue into a true pathology. Mental health professionals rely on one final critical metric, the threshold of systemic impact. Laziness might delay a goal or cause an inconvenience, but it rarely destroys the underlying structure of a person's life. This framework is the 4 Ds of abnormality, a tool psychologists use to determine mental disorders. Deviance, distress, and danger track abnormal behaviors and internal suffering. The final D, dysfunction, occurs when inactivity violently interferes with basic survival or holding a job. When the inability to act dismantles a person's ability to survive in society, it has become a dangerous systemic collapse that requires immediate intervention. If you recognize a loss of agency, the presence of anhedonia, and a state of dysfunction in your own life, the symptoms point toward clinical depression. The intense guilt and shame you carry is based on a misunderstanding of your condition. You have been treating a medical illness as if it were a character flaw. Moving toward healing requires you to first shed the toxic label of laziness and recognize the situation for what it is. Because this is a biological and psychological illness, attempting to life hack your way out of it will only lead to further frustration and damage. Take this diagnostic divide seriously. Reach out to a mental health care professional to discuss the therapy or medication required to begin rebuilding the mind.